What this bill does do is it strives to regulate data centers as a land use. So the more impactful that land use is, the more requirements that that data center has. So standard and major data centers use more energy than the majority of industrial uses in the city to date, which is why there are more requirements on those than in the micro level, and as well as fewer places that those can go. It is also true that each data center application would be evaluated on its own merits, which some projects would be approved and some would not. The application requirements and the renewable energy requirements are all things that each project would have to demonstrate that it can meet, as well as all the reporting requirements and different things that are how the data center would be built, how the noise would be dealt with. All of those things will be specific to each project, and each project would be evaluated separately. So yes, that would likely mean that some projects would be approved and some would not be approved. That would be because these are all conditional and they all go through the Board of Public Service. That is just the process that has been outlined. Just like any other conditional process that happens in the city, there are some projects that are permitted conditionally and some that are not, and it would be the same type of project. So after the last meeting, there was concern and desire among supporters and people who don't support the bill to have further conversation with Ameren, with the electric service provider. I want to say again that the city cannot regulate Ameren. The city cannot regulate Ameren. It cannot tell Ameren what to do. That is the role of the Public Service Commission. But what the city can do is try to provide zoning regulations that meet the comprehensive plan, which includes a sustainability plan as well as the land use plan. Those are things that are adopted by the city of St. Louis and meant to be followed. If they aren't followed, they're just words on a piece of paper and they don't actually result in impacts and results really for our constituents. Because this land use is so different in that standard and major category, again, beginning at 5 megawatts and continuing on to the major category over 30, that's why there are renewable energy requirements in this bill. The renewable energy requirements were first put in place in these regulations in the staff recommendations, which had a 10-year goal, threshold, not goal. Then in subsequent conversations, trying to show that there is progress towards that threshold at year 5, and also at day 1 that the data centers are meeting some amount of renewable. This is because we have those plans, because we have those goals. As the presentation that was given by our sustainability director regarding the city's progress towards those goals, and it shows that yes, the city is progressing towards using more energy or less energy, but this would really change that curve for the city if data centers are permitted at these standard and major sizes without having really intentional and clear renewable energy goals or thresholds rather. That's really important, that energy coming to the facility includes that bundled renewable. That is why that is called out as a priority. The year 5 operation continues with that 25% of the 50% requirement, so 25% of the total rather of the 50% total requirement to be unbundled to allow that more flexibility at year 5. And then maintains that 25% threshold of unbundled as it moves into the end of the 10th year at 100% renewable. It's, the renewable energy requirement is consistent for both standard and major data centers. Of course, the major data centers would have a harder time meeting the requirement, but they also have a substantially, higher negative impact in terms of the emissions on site with the generators that would be needed to have as backup, as well as the heat produced that would and the noise produced, which we've discussed as well. So that's why it's this consistent standard for either standard or major. I think it'll be significantly easier for a standard data center, especially the ones on the smaller side, to meet these requirements. And again, we don't have data centers in the city of St. Louis that are over 10 megawatts at this time. So the data centers that currently operate, if others like them were trying to come in at that over 5 megawatt threshold, this would be a much easier threshold to meet than a data center over 100 megawatts. And I don't deny that.
You change in the board that would need to go back to planning.
Most.
It's not my fault.
The data center set off the fire. I'm just kidding.
I make the motion that we recess.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.